It started with a simple home renovation, an old estate in a quiet English town being restored to its former glory. But when workers broke through a bricked-up fireplace, they never expected to find what was inside: a skeleton, curled up as if frozen in time. At first, it seemed like an ancient relic, but forensic science would soon reveal something much more sinister: a murder that had remained unsolved for 3 centuries. The estate, a grand but forgotten manor, had stood for nearly 300 years. Its history was filled with whispers of secrets, but no one had ever suspected that its very walls hid a dark truth. The bones were not from an ordinary burial. They were deliberately concealed, locked away from the world. But who was this person? And more importantly, who had gone to such great lengths to hide their body? As investigators arrived at the scene, they carefully extracted the remains. The skeleton was shockingly well preserved for its age, protected by the sealed enclosure. No clothing, no identifying artifacts, just bones. But something stood out immediately: the position of the body. It wasn't a natural death. This person had been placed there, and not gently. Forensic analysis confirmed what detectives feared. The victim was a young woman, no older than 25. She had suffered blunt force trauma to the skull, a fatal blow. The lack of decay on the bones suggested she had been hidden quickly after death, perhaps within hours. Whoever had placed her there wasn't just trying to cover up a crime. They wanted her to disappear forever. With no modern records to rely on, investigators turned to history. Old town archives revealed a chilling discovery: a missing persons report from 1723, describing a woman who vanished without a trace. A maidservant, employed by the very family who once lived in the manor. The question was no longer who she was, but why she had been silenced. The missing woman's name was Mary Bannister, last seen working at the estate. According to historical records, she had no family and was dismissed from her position under suspicious circumstances. Rumors at the time suggested she had been involved in a scandal, possibly an affair with someone of status. But in an era where secrets were deadly, had this been enough to cost her life? The manor itself had a long, troubled past. The original owner, Lord Henry Whitmore, was known for his ruthless reputation. His name appeared in multiple legal disputes, including accusations of mistreatment by former servants. But nothing had ever stuck. He was a man of influence, shielded by wealth and power. Could he have been involved in Mary's fate? Thanks to modern forensic tools, researchers extracted traces of lead and arsenic from Mary's bones, poisons commonly used in the 18th century. Had she been slowly poisoned before the final blow? And if so, why had her killer decided to seal her away rather than dispose of the body elsewhere? The manner of her concealment suggested more than just a crime. It suggested fear. Digging deeper, researchers found another shocking twist: a series of letters hidden in the town's historical archives. These letters, written by an unknown sender, spoke of a woman who knew too much and had to be dealt with before she could talk. Could these have been referring to Mary? And if so, what secret had she uncovered that cost her life? The letters contained a cryptic signature: H.W. The initials matched only one name from the estate's history: Henry Whitmore. But the biggest revelation was yet to come. Among the estate's old ledgers, an entry from 1723 revealed a sudden, unexplained payment to a local mason, a large sum of money, far greater than any routine expense. What was he paid for? And could it be tied to the bricked-up fireplace that hid Mary's body? The discovery of the large payment to the mason was a breakthrough. Investigators suspected that Henry Whitmore had hired him to seal the fireplace, not for repairs, but to permanently entomb Mary's body. But if this was true, why hadn't the mason spoken out? A deeper look into the records revealed a chilling answer. The mason had died mysteriously just months after receiving the payment. Historical documents suggested that the local townspeople had long whispered about Lord Whitmore's temper and the strange disappearances linked to his estate. Servants resigned without explanation. Some were never seen again. But in an era where the powerful could erase their crimes, justice was rarely served. Was Mary just one of many victims? As researchers scoured old letters and journals, they stumbled upon a diary entry from a former housemaid who had worked under Whitmore. Dated shortly after Mary's disappearance, it read, "I dare not speak of what I heard that night. Screams, a door slamming, and then silence. By morning, Mary was gone, and the master ordered the fireplace sealed." The evidence was undeniable. Mary Bannister had been murdered, silenced for reasons still unknown, and hidden away to ensure her story would never be told. But while history had buried her case, modern science had resurrected it. The forensic analysis, combined with historical records, painted a picture of a wealthy, powerful man eliminating a woman who had become a threat to his reputation. A deeper forensic examination of Mary's remains uncovered another horrifying twist. Her fingers showed signs of fractures and splintering. She had tried to claw her way out. This meant that when she was bricked up, she was still alive. The truth was even darker than murder. Mary Bannister had been buried alive. With the case effectively solved, one lingering question remained. Was it possible to deliver justice after 300 years? Lord Henry Whitmore was long dead. His name, once revered, was now stained with the revelation of his crimes. But for Mary Bannister, there would be no courtroom, no trial, only the truth. When the discovery became public, the town's historical society held a memorial in Mary's honor. For centuries, her story had been erased, but now people knew her name. Local historians demanded that Lord Whitmore's once glorified legacy be rewritten, marking him as a murderer rather than a nobleman. Following the discovery, the manor, now a site of historical significance, was open to the public. Some visitors reported strange occurrences near the old fireplace. Whispers, flickering lights, even a sense of unease. Was it lingering energy or just the power of suggestion? The legend of Mary Bannister had now become part of the estate's haunted history. Though no one had set out to investigate her disappearance, fate had intervened. A routine home renovation had cracked open a 300-year-old secret. And despite the years that had passed, Mary's story was finally told. In the end, the truth refused to stay buried. Mary Bannister's case is just one of many forgotten crimes waiting to be uncovered. How many more secrets are hidden within the walls of old buildings? How many mysteries remain unsolved? Not because they can't be solved, but because no one has found them yet? Perhaps history isn't finished speaking. Maybe we just haven't been listening.